In this video, I'm taking a look at the Digitech HammerOn, a pitch shifter with quite a few tricks up its sleeve. In the box, you get the manual, which has explanations and suggestions and some musical theory. Of course, you get the HammerOn. Oh, more stuff. You get some picks and some stickers, your warranty confirmation, and a universal power supply. Now, try and pretend that that isn't fun. This is the HammerOn, a new member to the Whammy family. You've got also the drop, which allows you to drop tune, and you can do that as well with the HammerOn. And the whammy, of course, and all those whammy pedals with the rockers on that take up oh so much space. The HammerOn is relatively tiny. It's just a little bit bigger than, say, a standard size pedal. So that tuner there, that strobo stomp, that's pretty standard, and that's a mini pedal. So it's the bigger one, but it's not that much bigger. Now, those sounds that you just heard was just me pressing buttons and spinning things around. I haven't even read the manual at this point, which I don't actually recommend doing. Well, I do recommend just plugging in and having a go, but definitely do not take this pedal to a gig or a rehearsal expecting to get along with it well. There's, some stuff you've got to learn, and the last thing we want to do is upset fellow band members by, plugging in a new pedal and then spending half an hour at rehearsal just messing around with it, right? Who would do such a thing? Now let's take a quick look at the pedal. We've got two foot switches. This is pitch 1, this is pitch 2. This is our selector knob, which is just a knob. It's not a pressy or anything like that. In fact, let me turn that off because it's annoying. There. We've got 3 buttons with LEDs indicated just there. The one on the left is the dry and true bypass LED to tell you that the pedal is off, or rather it's on, but it's just not activated. The second is the trill, and that will flash in time with whatever tempo you've set it at using that selector knob up there. Then we have the mode button, which selects the mode of pitch 2. So pitch 1 does not have a changeable mode. It's always HammerOn. This one, you can change what it does. Then at the top, in the middle, we've got 16 LEDs, and these are the pitch select, which indicate the current pitch shift amount. I know I did some examples in the beginning, but that was just sound samples. Now I'm going to tell you how I did it. So, pitch 1 is always HammerOn, and it's currently set to fifths. And yes, it can do chords. Which I know is as easy as going. Or something like that, but the fact is you can do it, and it sounds pretty similar to as it would do on the guitar. So let's try it. Pretty close considering you're going up a fifth. And it also means you can go down. So you can go up a total of 2 octaves and down a total of 2 octaves. And of course, things start to get a little glitchy the lower or higher you go, but it adds that sort of Digitech whammy characteristic to it. But anywhere that's not too crazy is pretty believable. So if you want to do something, let's say in E flat, you want to do a guitar that's in E and you want to down tune it to E flat, or you're in some other tune and you want to take it down just one step, that's going to work absolutely fine. And I know that because I've tested it. So let's do it again now. We've got holding that down. There. Now, this would be E. Which of course works fine, but if I change the, this is the Energy Alternator 2, by the way. It's a classic rock amp that gets a little bit stonery doomy. If I'm on the clean channel now and I do some sort of, so you can hear that. 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 So the drop could already do that. The drop could take you down several steps at a time, and it would be pretty good at doing it. I have one, and I love it. However, the difference with the HammerOn is that it also goes up. And again, you can do that by holding down pitch 1 and turning the toggly knob. Let's go back to the crunchy channel. This is twisting my melon. Ah. So that's what they mean by instantaneous pitch shifter. It's fun. I mean, there's more applications for it than just, you know, being too lazy to change the chord. But that, I mean, what if you wanted to go up here, and this is your last note, and you need one more? There's one more. Moving on to pitch 2, that works a little differently. So I'm going to put it in HammerOn mode. There we go. That's purple. So now it's, and when I hold it, it goes down 2 octaves. Let's change that to just, well, let's try it. Let's be sensible. There. 1 octave. I mean, that is awesome. Technically, it shouldn't be instantaneous if you're going to do a convincing Lonely Boy. But just that alone kind of sells it for me. But I think the drop does well. The drop does pretty well. I love that. That's just a thick old, like a baritone-y tone. I think the EQ would need a little tweaking on that just to make sure it retained its clarity, but the idea is there, the tool is there. Let's take a look at impossible mode. I do that. There we go. Impossible mode! What's it set to currently? I dig that. There's nothing really impossible about that. Oh no, I went lower than I could have gone on the guitar. Yeah, I did D. But I guess where that gets fun is if you do the trill, and then you speed that up. That should be like a sequence. It's maybe a bit too fast. Maybe it shouldn't be called impossible mode, maybe it should be called cheat mode. What if I hang on. That is insanely creative. You can also, of course, change those notes. So if I turn the trill off, and then press that note, I can change it to an octave up and an octave down. Put the trill back on. Apologies if this is not that musical, but I'm exploring the pedal, and I've spent a fair bit of time with it, but I made the mistake now of reading the manual, you see, and now I know what I'm doing, but I feel that, like, when you, oh dear, here we go. When you learn music theory, you lose a bit of creativity. Not true, but that's how I feel right now. I feel like I know too much, and also too little. But the point is, once you get into the manual, once you get into the way this pedal works, it is kind of second nature, although it seems a bit daunting at first. And that is so much fun. I'm going to speed it right up, see what that does. Musically, I don't think you have to go up and down either. I think you can just go, let's turn the trill off. So that octave, that one down could go a fifth up, and that one could go, oops, a fifth, and then a fourth. What does that do? Well, I know what it does, but let's hear it. Justin Hombach, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. Trill. I can now use this when I'm doing 80s style pedals, and I won't actually have to learn how to play properly. I can just bring the hammer on. Deal. So the next mode you can do for pitch 2 is sequence 2. There's also 3 and 5, but this is 2. So at first this sounds the same as impossible, because you can use the pitch 2 to shift through those different pitches. But if you put the trill on, like so, it will sequence. That is not very musical. Hang on, let's try that. And at this point I'm going to bring the dry in as well by pressing that one, and we should still stay musical. Now I'm feeling 80s Airwolf kind of themed TV show. Digging it. Again, it's a creative tool. It has a utility tool side of it, of drop tuning and going up like a capo mode. But it's creative, and that's what I like about it. I'm having a lot of fun. But the fun doesn't stop there, because if I press that, and that goes blue, we now have 3 sequences, which is 3 notes. I'll turn the dry off for a moment. There we go, just so we can hear the sequence 3. Don't know how long I've just done that for, but it was not long enough for me and probably too long for you. It's still 5. Let's do 5. 5! There we go. That's that's interesting. When you stop it, it stops on the note that you're on. So that could be confusing if you're using this at a gig and you're not doing experimental noise music. You could end up 4 notes higher than you think you are. So be careful with that. Turning the trill off should fix that because that should step through the sequences. There we go. Cool. That should also work with chords. I get 3s, 5's too much. Let's try 3. Oh no, hang on, that's impossible. There, 3. That is nuts. I am just playing a G power chord. The possibilities of laziness are endless. Although it takes more effort for me to tap my foot than it does to change my hand position. But if for some reason you can't use that hand, you could, I don't know, there's creativity. Talk amongst yourselves in the comments on how you would use that. No, don't talk about how you would only play guitar one-handed. Ugh. Now the drop is a great pedal, but it only goes down. The HammerOn can go up, as if you're adding a capo. And if you had an acoustic guitar and you'd forgotten your capo or capo, then you could do any song on the 2nd fret that requires a capo or capo. And that means I'm going to have to go and get my acoustic guitar. Back in a moment. It is a little bit dusty from being in the living room. Right, this is going to sound weird for me, so if I put it in this... Oh. Hello. If I put this into hammer mode, but put it in impossible, and then I change that to 2nd, now I've got a capo at the 2nd. Now please bear in mind that I'm putting this through an electric guitar, a tube amp for electric guitar, so this probably isn't going to sound great, but without the pedal, it sounds like this. Like any chord I could play, just anyone. Now we'll put the, maybe I should turn the reverb off. Maybe that's not... Now let's put the HammerOn onto 2. I have no idea what that sounded like to you because in the room, and if we keep this mic on now, you should hear what I can hear, which is the clean sound, unaffected of the acoustic, plus the capo of the HammerOn. Oh, I can emulate what I'm hearing by doing that. Yeah, so you could do that in a pinch, and if you weren't running through a guitar amp, you could do that through the PA, and you might get away with forgetting a capo for your acoustic guitar. You're welcome. Now back to the electric. If I change that to a 3rd, we can use it as, well, it's a songwriting tool, and you can kind of play nice, clean chords, I think. That's a tone right there. That's not. But I can hear that being like a sort of Tame Impala sort of record. Or you can intelligently harmonize. So you should be able to go between minors and majors. And you can be like Brian May or some one of those harmony people. Oh, can I do it? I'm going to try. I'm going to need a minute, so I'm going to cut and come back in a moment. I've got to figure it out first. This is not it, but I got something that's cool. I had to leave that in. I'm still working on Brian May, or maybe Thin Lizzy. I found some instant disharmony stuff. Oh, that's nasty. Imagine someone doing that to your pedalboard and you not knowing how to fix it. Something like that. And then if you use the step, you could change the pitch to like the other one. Oh! And this is if you don't have a bass player in your band and you want to get some fat, chunky riffs. Oh, I could stay with that for a very long time. But for your sake, I won't. Oh, I love that. One more time. Oh, it makes me feel all funny inside. Right. Any more harmonies I want to do there? A seventh. Why not? That is why not. If you are cleverer in musical theory than me, then you will probably be able to figure out that you can do all kinds of harmony stuff and have that dry going through. So you have, no, sorry, that's how you harmonize. You have to have the dry turned on. What happens if you trill? I haven't done that yet. So trill and that. So this could just come up with new riffs for you, and then you have to figure out how you play it by looking at the... Stop doing that. By looking at the LEDs. I'm kind of sold on this. And don't forget, you could also use it on a bass or a barit. Oh, you could get the brown note pretty easily. Let's just very quickly see what happens if you add some delay and turn off the dry. Right, that's all I'm doing because I know that I could just... I need some personal time with this pedal. Let me summarize this by saying, if you need something that does drop tuning, this does it. If you need something that does a capo, this does it. If you need some sort of sequencing that makes you feel more talented than you are, this does it. And if you need some fast trills to add to your already shred playing, this is going to do it. The thing is, this is a utility pedal for serious use, like just, you know, you don't want to take a drop-tuned guitar to a gig, or if you need to change tuning throughout a show, you could do that using the sequence, and you could have 5 different tunings, maximum. Or if you just want to get creative and make some noise and add some delay pedals and some serious reverbs and go nuts, this'll do it. It is $270-ish bucks, which is a lot of money for a mess around. But surely, if you go to a gig and you're using it for utility stuff, this is worth that. If you can only fit one, like if you're going on a fly rig or something, and you need a guitar in several different tunings, just take one and the HammerOn, and then also end your set by, you know, twiddling knobs with delay pedals and the HammerOn and going nuts, and really annoying your bandmates. Whatever you do, do not let your bass player buy one of these. There's a tip for you. All right. Thank you to Digitech for sending this out for review. I absolutely dig it hard. And yeah, stop! Hammer time. I've been trying to figure out a way to put that in the video somewhere. I couldn't. So there it is. Right, there's links to this in the video description and first comment. I hope something great happens to you today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!